This is The End of the Road in Michigan. Short stories about Michigan history that were never taught in school. Today's episode, History of St. Clair Flats, a voyage to Detroit's Lost Island playground.
The St. Clair Flats, about 25 miles northeast of Detroit, became an island playground where families sometimes owned the cottage, but not the ground beneath it. By 1900, passenger steamers, private clubs, and resort hotels had turned this Great Lakes Delta into a summer community unlike any other in Michigan.
The unusual ownership system was no small technicality. Michigan considered much of the flats part of the bottomlands of Lake St. Clair. People built houses, docks, and businesses there, but the state maintained that the submerged or formerly submerged ground belonged to the public.
Before reaching that legal fight, we must first understand the place itself. The St. Clair River flows south from Lake Huron. Near Algonac, the river divides into several channels before entering Lake St. Clair. Those channels form islands, marshes, bays, and narrow strips of buildable ground. Harsens Island is the largest island on the American side.
The delta is older than its resorts, property surveys, and international boundary. Anishinaabe people used these waters for fishing, hunting, travel, and trade long before Michigan became a state. Bikejwanung Territory, also known as Walpole Island First Nation, remains an Anishinaabe community on the Canadian side of the delta. The later resort story should never be told as though newcomers arrived in an unused place.
Water governed every movement in the flats. A channel could serve as a street, a delivery route, and a front yard. The most important side of a cottage faced the dock. Boats carried groceries, lumber, mail, hotel guests, and summer workers. For residents accustomed to city blocks and streetcar lines, the flats offered an entirely different sense of direction.
It also presented a serious navigation problem. The delta was shallow, divided, and constantly affected by moving sediment. Commercial vessels bound for Detroit and the upper Great Lakes needed a dependable route through it. Federal channel work and lighthouse construction during the 1850s improved the South Channel. In 1866, work began on a straighter canal across the flats. That channel opened in 1870 and was later deepened.
The canal was intended for commerce, not tourism, yet it helped make the resort era possible. That is the first great irony of the St. Clair Flats. An improvement built to move freight also made the area easier for passenger steamers to serve. Better navigation brought iron ore, lumber, and manufactured goods through the region. It also brought vacationers.
Detroit supplied those vacationers in growing numbers. The city's population was rising. Industry created jobs, noise, smoke, and crowded neighborhoods. Before air conditioning, a summer afternoon in the city could be exhausting. Lake St. Clair offered cooler air and room to move. More important, it could be reached without owning an automobile.
Sportsmen were among the first organized groups to establish a lasting presence. In 1872, Detroit members formed the Lake St. Clair Fishing and Shooting Club. It later became the Old Club. Its early purpose was plain: fishing, hunting, and fellowship. Over time, it became a summer center for families, sailing, and social events. A larger clubhouse was built on the South Channel, with cottages gathered nearby.
The Old Club represented one side of resort life. Membership offered privacy, seasonal routines, and an established social circle. Public excursion parks represented another. A factory worker might never belong to a private club, but he could buy a steamer ticket and take his family to the flats for the day. The same waterways served both groups, even if their destinations were separate.
The best-known public destination opened in 1897. Tashmoo Park occupied about 60 acres on Harsens Island. The White Star Line promoted it as an answer to Detroit's summer heat. Visitors found picnic grounds, walking paths, bathing areas, games, a baseball field, and a large dancing pavilion. Period accounts also referred to a casino.
That word can mislead a modern listener. At turn-of-the-century resorts, casino often referred to an entertainment hall or social pavilion. It did not always mean a gambling business. At Tashmoo Park, dancing, company outings, church picnics, and family gatherings were central attractions. The park sold recreation, but the boat ride was part of the product.
White Star controlled the destination and the transportation serving it. That was a shrewd arrangement. The company could fill a steamer by promoting the park, then fill the park by scheduling the steamer. Its greatest vessel was already taking shape. The sidewheel steamer Tashmoo was launched at Wyandotte on December 30th, 1899. Naval architect Frank E. Kirby designed the 306-foot passenger boat. She made her first regular voyage on June 9, 1900.
Kirby designed many important Great Lakes vessels, including the later Boblo boats, Columbia, and St. Clair. The Tashmoo became one of his most famous creations. Her speed earned her the nickname White Flyer. Her long rows of windows inspired another name, the Glass Hack. Neither nickname sounded especially elegant, but both were remembered.
The regular route connected Detroit and Port Huron, with stops at Tashmoo Park and other landings. For Detroit passengers, the excursion began before they reached the island. City streets gave way to the river. Factories and wharves passed from view. The boat crossed Lake St. Clair and entered the divided channels of the flats. A person did not simply arrive at the resort. The approach unfolded over several hours.
The steamer made a distant island feel connected to downtown Detroit. That leads to the story's counterintuitive point. The flats became popular partly because they were isolated. A remote hotel at the end of a poor road was difficult to reach. An island resort with a scheduled steamer stop had a direct transportation system. Water was not an obstacle. It was the main road.
In 1901, Tashmoo's reputation faced a public test. After boasts about which passenger vessel was fastest on the Great Lakes, White Star President A. Parker offered a challenge. The Tashmoo would race the City of Erie between Cleveland and Erie, Pennsylvania. Newspapers followed the preparations. Money was wagered. Crowds gathered along the roughly 100-mile course.
The race took place June 4, 1901. Tashmoo had difficulties with steering and its condenser. The City of Erie crossed the finish first after about 4 hours. The winning margin was only 45 seconds. That defeat did not damage Tashmoo's reputation. In some ways, it strengthened it. A close loss in a nationally reported race gave the Detroit steamer a story that lasted far longer than an ordinary summer excursion.
Back in the flats, the resort business continued to grow. Private clubs and hotels appeared along the channels. The Marshland Club, Club Aloha, and the Lowry Hunting and Fishing Club served members and guests. Hotels such as the Merview, Star Island House, Wellington, and Joe Bedore's welcomed travelers arriving by boat. Their docks were not secondary entrances. They were the front doors.
Every pleasant summer afternoon depended on work that visitors did not always see. Captains read the channels. Deckhands handled lines and passengers. Cooks prepared meals. Hotel employees cleaned rooms and served dining halls. Local boat operators carried people and supplies between landings. The leisure economy of the flats rested on long hours and knowledge of the water.
Joe Bedore became one of the district's best-known hosts. Born in Quebec in 1839, Bedore operated a hotel and gained a reputation as a lively promoter. His name became closely associated with waterfront meals and island hospitality. The surviving hotel names suggest a busy resort district, yet it never operated like an ordinary town. There was no single main street joining everything together. Each channel created its own neighborhood.
That arrangement was a unique historical feature. Homes and businesses faced what surveyors sometimes called water highways. In most Michigan communities, government laid out roads and owners built houses beside them. In parts of the flats, the usable routes were already flowing past the lots. Daily life had to conform to the water.
The ground itself presented a harder question. During the 19th century, Michigan officials did not always classify the flats consistently. Some areas were treated as swamp or overflowed land. Residents occupied parcels, built cottages, and made improvements without always holding clear title. In 1899, the legislature ordered a formal survey and attempted to settle the issue.
The survey was completed in 1902. By then, the state's position had shifted. Officials argued that much of the flats was not ordinary swamp ground available for sale. It was Lake Bottomland held by Michigan under the public trust. That change placed residents in a difficult position. Some people who believed they had established valid claims were now treated as trespassers on state property.
Lawsuits followed between 1901 and 1910. The rulings were not always consistent. Then came the 1910 case of the state of Michigan against the Venice of America Land Company. The Michigan Supreme Court confirmed that the disputed flats were part of Lake St. Clair's bottomlands and remained under state ownership.
Lawmakers responded with the St. Clair Flats Act of 1913. It created a system for leasing, controlling, and taxing the occupied parcels. The law also retained public rights of navigation, hunting, and fishing. Private use could continue, but it existed alongside the state's duty to protect public access and natural resources.
The result sounded almost impossible. A family might own its cottage, dock, and other improvements while leasing the ground below. That was not a temporary summer custom. The system influenced property ownership for decades. Later laws allowed some leaseholders to obtain deeds, but the state's involvement did not disappear.
The legal fight revealed a conflict at the heart of the flats. People wanted secure homes and businesses. The public had rights in the water and bottomlands. The state had allowed settlement to grow before fully settling the rules. By 1913, Michigan was trying to manage a community that had already been built.
During the 1920s, the flats remained a major summer destination. Yet the forces that had made it successful were beginning to change. Automobiles gave families new choices. Better roads opened inland lakes, roadside parks, and cottage districts that did not require a steamer schedule. The boat was still exciting, but it was no longer the only practical escape from Detroit.
The steamer era did not end on a single date. It weakened through changing travel habits, high operating costs, fires, winter damage, and economic pressure. The Great Depression made the problem worse. Families had less money for excursions. Businesses reduced company outings. Large passenger vessels became increasingly difficult to operate profitably.
Tashmoo also developed a habit of entering the news for the wrong reasons. In December 1927, a powerful gale snapped the heavy cables holding the steamer at her Detroit dock. The unattended vessel drifted toward Belle Isle and struck the bridge. Tug crews regained control, and the damage was repaired. It was an extraordinary night, but not the end.
In August 1934, high winds pushed Tashmoo onto a sandbar near Squirrel Island. A paddle wheel was damaged, and passengers were transferred to tugboats. Again, the steamer returned to service. By then, however, each repair carried greater weight. The excursion business was shrinking.
The final accident came on June 18, 1936. Tashmoo was returning from a Sugar Island dance excursion with about 1,400 passengers when she struck a submerged rock and began taking on water. The crew guided the damaged vessel to a dock at Amherstburg, Ontario. Every passenger got off safely.
The safe evacuation deserves emphasis. A serious accident involving 1,400 people ended without a mass loss of life because the crew kept the vessel moving and reached a landing. Salvage crews later tried to raise Tashmoo, but the damaged hull broke apart. The engines were removed, and the remains were cut down for scrap.
The White Flyer was gone. Tashmoo Park continued for another 15 years, but it had lost its most recognizable transportation link. The park closed in 1951. Most of its resort structures disappeared or found other uses. The old system of mass steamer excursions faded with it.
Still, the St. Clair Flats did not vanish. The old club continues on Harsens Island. Cottages still face the channels. Boats remain essential to many properties, while protected marshes support fish, waterfowl, and other wildlife. Michigan still oversees leases and deed applications for certain bottomland lots. The old legal question remains part of present-day property administration.
The St. Clair Flats were never merely a collection of summer hotels. They formed a community built according to the logic of water. Commercial dredging aided recreation. Isolation improved access. A losing steamer became a Michigan icon. Families built private homes on ground held in the public trust. Each contradiction helped shape Detroit's island playground.
The most important fact may be the simplest. In the flats, water did not separate the community. Water created it.
Thanks for listening. Please offer suggestions for new topics that we should research and follow the End of the Road in Michigan podcast for future episodes.